Hello guys, Coach Jake coming at you from Team MK Fitness, and today we're going to be talking about the setup and execution of the military press. So the military press is an overhead compound pressing movement used to develop shoulder and tricep strength and hypertrophy. So we're going to be talking about proper setup so that we have injury prevention and how to get the most out of the lift. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with a barbell version. So I'm going to approach the bar. Now let's talk about hand placement. I have my hands right outside of the bar. I'm allowing the bar to rest right at the clavicle, at the upper chest, okay? I don't want my hands too wide and I don't want them too narrow. So the reason why is the way that our shoulder joint is designed. We have that ball and socket right at the top of that humerus sitting in that socket, and we have a little bit of space in between where that ball sits into the socket. When we have those arms too wide, we have a tendency to jam that bone up into the socket. It can cause some impingement issues and be really uncomfortable, so we want to prevent all of that. We can go narrow, just understand that you're probably not going to get the most out of the lift. Your triceps are going to take over most of the load, and it's going to be a lot harder to keep core stabilization and pelvic alignment. So we want it right in that Goldilocks zone. We call this the scapular plane. So we're bringing it out of the frontal plane just a little bit forward, and that clears that bone forward and allows a little more space to operate in. So I have the proper hand placement right outside of my shoulders. Now let's talk pelvic and lower back positioning. So I'm going to give you a side view. A lot of people, they tend to overarch that back, and that's really nasty, and that's a way that you can cause a lower back injury. We don't want any of that. So what I want you to do is squeeze your quads, squeeze your core, and squeeze your glutes all at the same time. So I want you to watch this goes. Ready? Boom. Instant correction. So now I have neutral pelvis, neutral spine. I am saving my lower back a lot of trouble, and now I can actually get more force production out of the lift. So now that I have good pelvic and lower back alignment, my hands are in the right place, let's talk upper back for a second. So my upper back, my neck and upper back, my thoracic and cervical spine, we want them in slight extension, right? So if I'm caved forward, I'm in extension. We don't want that. That's a good way to hurt your disc. We don't want any spine fusion here, okay? We want to protect that spine. I'm in slight extension. So I'm going to look up just slightly to make sure that I stay there. I'm not looking way up here. I'm just looking up, not directly forward because we have a tendency to let that chest cave in. I'm looking up. I'm pulling those shoulders back and down. I'm keeping those elbows nice and tucked in. So now everything's in tight. I'm going to drive those elbows up. Now you'll notice I'm allowing my head to come forward. I'm not over-exaggerating it, right? I'm just letting it come back to its natural position. Now at the top of the movement, it's extremely important that we keep all those cues. I'm still engaging my quads. I'm still bracing my core. I'm still squeezing my glutes. I'm keeping everything nice and tight. Now, if you're starting to use heavier loads, it might not be a bad idea to use a belt. So you may want that to make sure you protect that back. Now, say the barbell version is a little rough on your joints. You feel a little bit in your shoulders and elbows a little too much. You can go to a dumbbell version. So same cues apply. Okay, have it right outside my shoulders. I'm in that scapular plane, bracing my glutes, bracing my legs, bracing my core. Looking up slightly, driving my elbows up. Same exact cues. Now, we've been doing a static version so far. Let's say you want something a little more athletic, you want to integrate some power into the movement, we can do a push press version. So we're going to get the entire body integrated into the movement. Same exact setup, okay? Squeeze my glutes, squeeze my core, squeeze my quads. Looking up slightly, I'm going to sink into my hips and drive from my legs and allow the inertia to carry the movement.